All right. Good morning, everybody. How are you? Welcome to the Touchdown Talk with Chris and Pablo. How's everyone doing? Hope you're all having a great start to your weekend. Week 9 of full-on NFL action as well as fantasy football action. And that's what we're here to talk about today. Welcome, Radio Garden State listeners. Pablo and I have been doing this show now for the last 9 weeks here on on Facebook, on YouTube, but we are now here on Radio Garden State, and we are psyched to be here with all of you. Pablo, good morning. How the heck are you?
Good morning, Chris. Good morning, everybody. Happy Saturday. Happy week 9 of NFL fantasy football. And a big what's up to Radio Garden State listeners. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, absolutely. We're excited to be here on the station today, and really pumped to bring what we've been doing here to you guys each and every Saturday here on Radio Garden State. So make sure you tune in on RadioGardenState.com. You can also listen via the TuneIn app or on any Alexa device. And also, too, if you guys want to call in, you can too, because we do have a call-in number. So you can chat right here in the chat on Facebook and YouTube where we're streaming, or you can call us at 862-243-2064. That number, once again, to call in live to ask us any questions or fantasy advice here is 862-243-2064. Keep it short too, because we're only on for 90 minutes, so we want to make sure that we keep the time right on the money. Oh, okay. So let's set this up a little bit. So for anybody new to the Touchdown Talk, Pablo, what do we normally do here on this show? Because for those of you who have never heard our show before, and maybe you're listening or you're watching us for the first time on Facebook, YouTube, all that, what do we normally do here? I think this would be good to just set it up really quick before we dive into the show.
Absolutely. So the structure here, folks, is Chris and I have been playing for several years fantasy football together in a couple different leagues. We get together every weekend to go live and review each matchup in each of our 2 leagues, the LOEMP League, the League of Extraordinarily Mediocre People, and the Dirt Invitational League. And we'll be reviewing our rosters, our matchups, and the players that are on both our teams and our opponents' teams to see which teams may have a better opportunity to come out with a win. And throughout the course of that analysis that we do, we'll be also making selections as to which teams we think will come out with a win. So we keep track of our selections and what our picks are. So I'll review what our current tally is here, Chris. We actually had a really great week 8 as far as our picks go, and I had 6 out of 12 picks hit last week. You had 7, which brings our grand total to a tied 51 apiece for the season.
Wow, 51 apiece for the season.
So we are neck and neck, my friend.
Look at that. And I was in a hole for a little bit too.
Yeah, no, but you did
Nice.
Great catching up.
Yeah, and just so you guys know too, and we did just set this up. So if you can't do it, let us know. But we did put this. So if you guys want to follow along in our leagues over on Yahoo Fantasy, you can. So it's League of Extraordinarily Mediocre People, or LOEMP for short, or the Dirt Invitational. Those are our 2 fantasy football leagues. If you want to follow along with what we're talking about here, the teams, the league, the standings, all that, and we'd love for you guys to hang out with us. And of course, too, once again, if you guys have any questions about your current lineup, who you should start, who you should sit, all that, let us know as we go. Once again, you can chat with us here on Facebook, on YouTube, or if you're listening, you can call in right now at 862-243-2064. That's 862-243-2064. So, Pablo, let's jump into it. Let's start with our looking at the League of Extremely Mediocre People, the LOEMP League, and the matchups we have this week. The biggest blowout of the week that we had last week was Josh's team, Dumbanders. 212.94 versus Shardy McDennis, 182.94. So a 30-point differential there. That was a good game to watch between the 2 of those guys.
182, and he still didn't come out with a win. That's
I know.
Tough.
It is tough. That's wild. And currently the standings in our league right now. Keith's cool team still number 1 with a 7-1 record. Followed by number 2, Tina's team Suck My Dicka. And then we got Mighty Morphin Bauer Rangers at number 3, Shardy McDennis at 4. My team did make it into the top 5 with a win last week, another win. So I've got strung together a couple wins in a row. My team, Yoda Best Team, has slipped into the number 5 spot, followed by Dumb Manders, number 6. Number 7, Los Chupacabras. Number 8, the name is Dalton. Number 9, CD's Nuts. Number 10, Manja Magic. Number 11, your team, my friend, Love Hurts. And then number 12, still an 0-8, still winless. It takes two to tango. And we also had, if we want to review some of the trades we had happen this week, we had some trades go down. You want to talk about some of these trades there, Pablo?
Absolutely. I think this most recent trade we had, we went over the Dallas Goedert trade was the last one we had. Dontavian Wicks for Dallas Goedert. I think that was last week's trade. So in this league, I don't think we had any new trades come up, but I did see one go through for the Dirt League, so we can cover that one when we get there.
All right, very good, excellent. So yeah, got some trades. I know I had a couple trade offers this week that I just didn't. I know I had some conversations, and I did get a trade offer that I wound up not going for. But either way, we like to see the trade deadline. When is the trade deadline in this league?
Our trade deadline
coming up soon.
If I'm not mistaken, here, let me pull it up real quick, is 3 weeks away, September 23rd. I'm sorry, November 23rd.
November 23rd. All right. So listen, still some time to make some moves, everybody.
We've got some time. The NFL trade deadline is actually this coming Friday, November 5th.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, that's Tuesday. That's Tuesday.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So it's election day.
So yeah, that'll also settle a lot of the dust and allow us to know for sure where players are going to stay for the remainder of the season.
Right. Okay. Yeah, which is good. I mean, listen, there's a lot of moves. I mean, I had one of my players, Deontay Johnson, he got traded to the Ravens. So that's I'm looking at that as an upgrade for that player for sure. So that's I'm kind of excited about that and where that's going to go. And, if you're on any of the, if you have any of these players that have gotten traded recently, hopefully they have upgraded and helped your team out over the last few weeks. So every week we do also pick a game of the week in our league. So looking at the lineup here, what would be the official Touchdown Talk game of the week this week to you, Pablo? Because we got a few interesting matchups here.
We do. I think, off the top right here, the one game that's popping out to me is our Keith's school team, the league leader at the moment with 6 wins in a row so far.
Yeah.
Up against number 3rd on the standings, Mighty Morphin Bauer Rangers.
Right.
Kevin Vaglio's team.
All right. So I think that's a good place to start then. So once again, guys, if you're listening in on Radio Garden State and you got any questions at all as we're going through all this, once again, who do you want to start, sit, trades, all that, let us know. You can call us at 862-243-2064, or if you're watching us over on the Radio Garden State Facebook page or YouTube, you can also throw them into the chat as well, and we will answer them as soon as we can. So let's look at this. Mighty Morphin Bauer Rangers versus Keith's cool team. The first place winner right now in our league. Right now, Kevin's team, Mighty Morphin Bauer Rangers, is the favorite in the Yahoo projections. And both teams putting up some points from Thursday night's game. Keith currently with the 14.29 and Kevin with the 19.5 there. And let's look at our QB1 spots real quick. Let's take a quick look at this, who they are both starting in these number 1 spots. Kevin's starting Bo Nix, and Keith had CJ Stroud play. And I think if you're a CJ Stroud owner, you weren't psyched about the numbers he put up this week from a fantasy perspective. He had a rough night. I mean, that game overall, the first half was pretty ugly versus the Jets. It was just an ugly Thursday night game, as most Thursday nights games tend to be. But I think we were talking about in our chat, the behind-the-scenes chat, man, CJ Stroud is really missing Nico Collins. He's missing him.
He is. And now he also lost Stephon Diggs. So
yeah, another big loss.
Stroud has not been great. On the other side, Bo Nix, he's probably been one of my favorite rookie quarterbacks to watch this year. He's had a great couple of 3-4 weeks in a row
Yeah.
where he's been playing fantastic. He has a nice matchup this week. So if I'm Kevin, I'm definitely excited to have him in my lineup today.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, I think that that's definitely an interesting one. I mean, he's been playing really well and he's been putting up some points. And and CJ Stroud, it's just, he's struggling, losing two of his top guys. I mean, when you look at the numbers from Monday night, 191 passing yards, 59 rushing yards, 11 completions. I think he was sacked something like 7 or 8 times. I mean, just not a good night for him. So I guess if you're a CJ Stroud owner right now, you got to be a little concerned about how the rest of your season's going to go. Unless they make some moves here, considering their 2 top wideouts are gone, wide receivers are out right now. Are they going to be in the market for looking for a free agent here at the trade deadline? Before the trade deadline happens on the 5th, you're saying. So could they be in the hunt here for a wide receiver?
It's possible. It's possible. I think they're getting Nico Collins back rather soon, so that'll definitely be a big upgrade.
Big
them.
up, yeah.
Yeah, I'm a Nico Collins manager in one of these leagues, and I've been keeping an eye on his progress. And it sounds like he's been making great, favorable progress from his hamstring injury, so he should be back within another week or so.
All right. Excellent. Very good. So let's look down the rest of this lineup really quick before we move on. Is there anything else that stands out to you as far as these matchups go with the players? I mean, I know Kevin's got Breece Hall, who was projected at 17, almost 18 points, and only put up 9.5. Breece Hall's fantasy woes kind of seem to continue here. Not doing what I guess everybody thought he was going to be doing this year. But is there anything else that's standing out to you from this matchup?
Not necessarily. They both have pretty well balanced teams. I like the wide receivers on Mighty Morphin Bowen's side a little bit better.
Yeah, Keon Coleman has really come on lately, huh?
Yep. And CeeDee Lamb had a monster week last week. Cooper Kupp got back into action last week as well. So I definitely
looked good too.
Yeah, he did. I definitely like Kevin's team on the wide receiver side. The running back situation is pretty well balanced on both sides.
Yeah,
I want to say the super flex spot there with Will Levis and Geno Smith, that's maybe where both teams are coming in with a little less strength.
Yeah,
Geno will not have DK Metcalf for the second week in a row.
Yeah,
and last week was not great for Geno, not great for Seattle because Metcalf wasn't there. Part of the reason was because Metcalf wasn't there. But let's see if they could do better this week against LA. And Will Levis has not been great, but he does play the Patriots, which are a favorable matchup for him. So we'll see.
Now, he is still listed as questionable right now with a shoulder injury. He was limited in practice this week. And so is that something that we should just be not concerned with? Is it something everybody's going to need to be watching if you're a Will Levis owner right now? I mean, what would you, I mean, this was as a Friday, that was the latest news. I mean, it sounds like the guy's maybe going to start, but it'll be interesting. I guess Brian Callahan's the backup if Will Levis doesn't start. It looks like, I think, because Mason Rudolph, I think, is injured, right?
Yeah, no, Callahan, I think, is the coach.
Sorry, my bad. I'm reading the wrong thing.
No problem. Yeah, not named yet, the Week 9 starter yet. Kevin does have Rudolph on his bench, but I'm sure he'll be ready to swap him out if that's the case. But either way, it's something to keep an eye on all the way up until game time.
All right, very good then. So let's make our pick here for what we're considering to be the game of the week in the LOEMP League, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers versus Keith's cool team. Who are you going with this week, Pablo? Who's your pick?
My pick is going to be Mighty Morphin in this one. I think the wide receivers did it for me.
All righty. I mean, looking at it, like I said, and like we were both saying, I mean, a lot of good on both sides here. But I think I am also going to go with Mighty Morphin as well on this one. I think that Kevin has a slight edge this week based on what we're seeing here. So that's my projection as well, predictions. So you guys let us know if you are watching and you're seeing the same things we are. We'd love to hear from you. Of course, if you do have any questions, feel free to drop it in the chat or call us at 862-243-2060. Let's move on to our next matchup in this league. That was our game of the week. So let's jump over. You know what? We're gonna go backwards because the way I'm looking at this on our screen here was because we're looking at it through my account is my team is the first one. So, but let's just go there and then we'll move back down. So Yoda best team, my team moving into the 5th spot versus the name is Dalton sitting in 8th. We're both. Here's something interesting about this league, real quick, is that we have a bunch of 4-4 teams, which is
Yeah.
funny. The amount of 4-4 teams happening right now in our league is pretty funny.
Yeah, it's insane. Yeah, we were talking about that in our own group chat there. We have one 5-3 team and another 6 4-4 teams. So 7 teams within one game, all in the hunt for those top 6 spots.
It's crazy. It is really crazy, and to see it, and so these next couple of weeks are going to be really crucial as we begin to start. Everybody starts the jockey for playoff position here. And what's going to happen. So let's take a look at this matchup. My team, Yoda Best Team, versus Ken's team, Yoda Best. The name is Dalton. Right away, we got 2 QBs that are, both having some pretty good fantasy seasons so far. I've been rolling with Baker Mayfield all season long, and I am so glad that I took Baker in our draft because I had a feeling based on last year's performance, and I was hoping he was just going to continue to build off last season, and he has so far. And even still, with the injuries that he's had to his wide receivers, he's still finding ways of putting up some pretty nice fantasy points. And then, of course, on the other side, we have Chicago Bears, Caleb Williams, starting in Ken's number 1 spot. How are you feeling about this matchup so far when you look at these 2 QBs going head to head?
So overall, you guys are projected pretty close, and you have had no players go on yet on Thursday night.
No.
As far as the top QB spot, yeah, Baker's been great, and even without like his top guns, like you just said, this past game, he did very, very well. He's going into Kansas City, so that'll be a tough game for him on a Monday night in Arrowhead. Yeah. And on the other end, Caleb, I was disappointed with what I saw with Chicago. I thought coming out of the bye after putting together some back-to-back really, really good fantasy production weeks, they were going to come out swinging, him and Rome Odunze, and that was not the case, not at all. They had a game that was not great against Washington, and they have a really, really good bounce back opportunity this week against Arizona, but they really need to show up this time, because otherwise I would definitely feel a lot more nervous if I were a Caleb Williams and Rome Odunze manager.
Yeah, I gotta agree with that. That game last week was a little disappointing. I really thought Chicago was gonna have a much better game than they did. So, but you know what? Here they are. They are playing Arizona, and Arizona's never even when they're really bad, they're still a tough team. They always play you hard, and so I don't think that this game is going to be quote unquote easy at all. I mean, Arizona's got weapons, and I think it's going to be an interesting game to watch. So will Chicago be able to put up any points from a fantasy perspective? That will be the big question there. Looking down the rest of our lineup here for this, my wide receiver core, I'm pretty excited about. I feel good about it. I got Jamar Chase, Malik Neighbors, Amon-Ra St. Brown. I feel good about that. Opposing, you look over, you got Marvin Harrison, Shakir, Downs. My only big spot here, obviously, is my concern is Malik Neighbors, because Daniel Jones is wildly inconsistent. Although the Giants seem to do better on the road than they do at home, but we are playing a Washington team who's first in the division right now and has just been hot, and the Giants have been the exact opposite of that.
I think Malik Neighbors will be fine this week, but
okay.
I would definitely be happy if I had that trio of wide receivers on my team as well. So your team definitely looks strong, a little stronger than Dalton's team in the wide receiver area. Looking at the running backs, I see, you've got Cook, he's got Walker. The next matchup is the one that I find the most interesting. He's got Tyron Tracy against your Tank Bigsby. Bigsby's been having a great season this year.
Yeah,
but he's questionable at the moment.
Right. He's got an ankle injury, and that was updated as of Friday. He's still listed as questionable, as is ETN, by the way. So ETN is also who started off being the starter there in in Jacksonville is also listed as questionable. So I guess we're not sure yet who's exactly going to be playing, and that game kicks off at 4 o'clock, by the way. So I may be having to make a swap potentially before game time.
Yeah, you'll want to keep an eye out for that
Yeah.
for sure. But
And then let's just zero into on the super flex, and then we'll move on here. I did pick up. This wasn't a trade with you, right? Did I pick up a trade? The Bryce Young, was that the trade with you? Was that the trade? Was that with
no,
you?
that
Who
was
did I make that trade with? Oh
that
no, I
was
picked that up. Sorry, I'm thinking of our other league. I'm thinking of the other league.
That's right. Yeah,
This is what happens when you're in too many leagues together. Everything blends in. But yeah, I picked him up, Bryce Young off the waiver wire. I mean, listen, last week he got me points. Andy Dalton not starting. The Carolina deciding, even though it seems like Andy Dalton seems to be okay after the car accident with the thumb injury, they're choosing to put the kid back out there again. And I guess we'll see what happens. I mean, last week he held his own, put up some decent fantasy points for me. Of course, Joe Flacco making his triumphant return, who's, man, you gotta love, first of all, you gotta love Joe Flacco coming back and just proving everybody wrong and having a great season. I think Indiana and I think Colts are making a right move there, starting Flacco.
Absolutely. The journeyman Flacco has been all over the place, but as of late, everywhere he went, he's been fantastic for fantasy. Absolutely great.
Puts up points.
Yes, I think it's a big upgrade from a fantasy perspective, not only for Dalton to be able to start Flacco, but also for Josh Downs.
Yeah,
I think it's fantastic for him and Michael Pittman.
Yeah, absolutely. So, all right, so let's go for our picks here, and then we'll move on. I am, of course, going to pick my own team because, as Pablo and I do, even in the face of adversity, we'll still pick our own teams because why the heck not? So I am picking my own team, Yoda Best Team. Pablo, who are you going with this week in this matchup between Yoda Best Team and the name is Dalton? Both 4-4 teams.
Yeah, it's going to be a close one, but I'll also go with Yoda Best Team.
All right. Yoda Best Team. We are both in agreement on that one. Okay, so let's move on to the next matchup in this one. CD's Nuts versus Love Hurts. My friend, you have a potential here in the projections, at least, of getting a win here and moving to a 4-5. You're currently sitting at 3-5 in the number 11 spot. And Matt Dunn, owner of CD's Nuts, sitting at 4-4. And you are projected 153 to 134. Dunn had a pretty decent night out of the gate with Aaron Rodgers. It's funny saying that because even from a fantasy perspective, Aaron Rodgers hasn't been too great, but it got him 31.84 points. And Garrett Wilson having a big night too, putting up a big 30 points as well. So out of the gate, he's got 61.84 points on you. But you did put up some points too on Thursday night with Tank Dell, who had a nice night, 126 receiving yards, 6 receptions, 140-yard reception. So he had a nice night for you.
He did. Yeah. I was caught with a big game from the two Jets players, Rodgers and Wilson. So
yeah,
Dunn, I'm sure very, very happy about that.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
On my end, I got lucky. I got the de facto number one right now for the Houston Texans, Tank Dell, who had a really, really decent game. Mm-hmm. And, it's promising to see that. He hadn't been having really, really good games, even when he didn't have a lot of competition on the field to get targets. But Thursday was good. He put up 19 points for me, so that gives me a great chance to come out with a win here. I was talking to you earlier off air, Chris. This is the league where I was surprised to see unfortunate news from one of my running backs, Zach Moss. Listed as doubtful right now. Projected for 0. Doesn't look like he will be playing.
Does not look like it's going to happen.
Yeah, and on my bench also other running backs that I had I had hopes to be able to use as a backup, like Tajay Spears, also ruled out.
Oh yeah, look at that.
So I'm going to have to make a move here and acquire a running back from someone or from the free agency. So we have time. The game's not until tomorrow.
Yeah.
But that is definitely something that I have some homework to do for.
So are you saying right now, Pablo, on the air to everybody, that you are open to some trade offers right now for a running back?
Oh, I submitted 3 different trade offers last night.
Oh, okay.
I woke up to one of them being rejected, which is fine. It happens.
Okay,
Not
yeah,
every
it
trade offer.
happens. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
exactly.
I think that's the one of the great strategies with trades is you gotta try to you have to attempt at least 4 or 5 different trades to get one to go through.
Yeah.
Don't feel frustrated. Don't feel like you've failed if you make a trade offer and it doesn't get accepted. It's okay. It's a starting
Yeah.
conversation. You know what? Maybe
Right.
that same person who rejected my trade, maybe we just need to counter offer and maybe add another piece or change a player for that player.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, trade offers have been sent. I'm totally open to accepting trade offers from anyone as well. Definitely in the market for a running back right now.
All right, there you go. So looking up and down this lineup, and by the way, I do want to point out in your super flex spot, I think this is a great head-to-head matchup. By the way, Matt Stafford on Dunn's side versus Jordan Love on your side. I think this is a great. I like this. I feel like there's lots of potential here for this to put up some nice size points here. And Dunn also, which I'm sure once again this is on Saturday, obviously when we do the show, and he probably hasn't looked at it yet. But Noah Fant out right now,
Yep.
Seattle tight end out. So I'm sure he'll make that adjustment before game time for sure tomorrow. But just calling that out right now. So if you're listening, Dunn, make sure you check your lineup, bud.
We'll reach out to him. Yeah, he has a couple of options on his bench, so
Yeah.
he won't have a problem with that.
So I feel comfortable, even if he does make that swap at tight end, I still feel comfortable. I think, my friend, you are going to notch a win this week and start your journey ascending up and getting yourself into playoff contention.
Let's hope so. Yeah, yeah. The 11th spot on the standings is not ideal.
No.
It's still a tight race, as we were talking about. I'm only one game behind
Right.
the 4th place team, so it's very, very close.
Right.
But yeah, I do need a win here. I'm hopeful that we'll get some great fantasy production from Jordan Love, who's had an up and down season with some health concerns here and there. But I think he's a really great player, and maybe this week against Detroit, he'll be able to bounce back and do some goodness for my fantasy team.
All right. So look at this. Both of us picking your team.
That'll be the pick.
Yeah, excellent. All right, so let's move on to our other matchup here. We got It Takes Two and a Tango, who is right now winless in our league, sitting in the last spot, versus Los Chupacabras, who's sitting at number 7, 4-4, another 4-4 team, Wayne's team, versus Jerry's team. And projections are very close on this one right now. Jerry, It Takes Two and a Tango at 153.42 versus Los Chupacabra, who's at a 151.73 according to Yahoo's projections. Looking at QB1 spots, Dak Prescott versus Lamar Jackson on the other side. And this should be interesting. Actually, not to rip on any Dallas fans out there, but I did find it funny. I did hear an audio yesterday with a couple of the Dallas players, and they were asking them, like, who they think are the elite quarterbacks in the NFL right now, and none of them said Dak. I'm just, as a Giants fan, I'm just pointing that out. But that the people on their own team don't even think Dak's an elite quarterback. But okay, enough Dallas shaming for a minute there. But looking at this matchup, Dak versus Lamar, how are you feeling about this? I feel like Lamar is going into Denver. And Denver, let me tell you, what a surprise they've been this year, right? Offensively and defensively. One of the tougher defenses in the league this year. Like in real life, not fantasy, but in fantasy if you got them too. They've been pretty good.
Absolutely, yeah. Denver is a big surprise. I did not think that they were going to be as competitive as they are. So that's been a wonderful thing to watch throughout the season. Lamar playing against Denver, he's been playing fantastic football. So I wouldn't expect, even against a tough defense, I wouldn't expect him to have too much of a problem there. Let's see how he utilizes that newly acquired weapon with Deontay Johnson, the wide receiver that just joined their team. And yeah, like you said, Dak Prescott on the other end going into Atlanta. I'm sure all of those Cowboys fans would love to see Dak and Kirk Cousins have a sling fest and put up a lot of fantasy points, put up a lot of points on the board.
Yep.
We'll see how that goes. Two of the Tango has Zay Flowers. That's a really, really good way to try to balance out all the fantasy production that Lamar might be putting up through the air. If hopefully that wide receiver is the recipient of all those yards and hopefully a touchdown for Two of the Tango's sake. Two of the Tango looking for his first win on the season. This might be the week right here.
Mm-hmm.
And as we look throughout the rest of their lineups, Chris, is there any one player that you're surprised to see or that you're looking forward to watching more of this
Not
week?
surprised to see, but I think it's going to be interesting to see just because, Patrick. So in the super flex spot here, because once again, in this league, we have a super flex spot. Tua back, going to Buffalo. Not going to be an easy matchup. Buffalo, number one right now in that division. Tua coming back from, his, third, fourth concussion. I mean, he looked good last week. And if you were a Tua owner, I think you were happy with the production there. Patrick Mahomes, going in Tampa Bay, not going to be an easy matchup for him. Although right now KC is undefeated, but from a fantasy perspective, Patrick Mahomes, and we talked about this last week on the show, he's been a bit of a disappointment from fantasy perspective. Although last week he did put up, in our league, he put up about 28.93 points, which it'd been a while since we saw him. Actually, that's the only time he's gotten close to 30 points in our league, the way it's set up right now. But going into Tampa, Monday night, under the lights, prime time, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen there. I'm not sure. Tampa's not been an easy team to go into, and and Tampa's been hot. So it should be interesting to see how that plays out. But I don't think Tua, Miami going into Buffalo. Who knows? I mean, Buffalo's been good too. So that could be interesting to see. I don't know if both those Superflex spots are going to put up the points that everybody wants this week.
Yeah, it'll be tough, but that'll definitely be maybe the most risk that both these teams have.
Yeah,
it's crazy to say that about Mahomes, but that is the reality that 2024 has brought us.
Right.
But we'll see.
Where I'm at with this, and I like both sides, but I do feel like that when I'm gonna make this pick here, I want to go with Jerry because he's the underdog, and I would like to see Jerry get a win here at 0-8. But I do feel like that Dak Prescott going into Atlanta and all that, and Dak just not being awesome this season from a fantasy perspective. I mean, he really only had one game in our league where he went crazy, which was against Baltimore, third game, which he had like 40.86 points. So I think Lamar going into Denver, I think has got a better shot at putting up some bigger points there, to be honest with you. And I think the Deontay Johnson pickup is going to be a big difference maker. So I am actually going to pick Los Chupacabras to win this one.
All right, very good. Great team for sure. I'm interested in watching Cedric Tillman this week to see in Cleveland what more he can do with Jameis Winston. He had a great week last week and the week before as well. But my pick is going to go with Jerry's team. It takes two to tango. Gets his first win this week. That's my prediction.
All right. Well, there it is. All right. I like it. And good luck, guys. Let's see. And listen, I would love to see Jerry get a win here. So nothing personal, pal. All right. We're almost finished up with this league before we move on to our next one. But here's we have Shardy McDennis versus Manja Magic. 4-4 team. Shardy McDennis sitting in the 4th spot. Manja Magic sitting in 10. Needs a win here, right? Needs a win. Projections are razor thin. Shardy McDennis currently at 154.56, while Manja Magic is 156.26. And looking right away, man, Jared Goff. Talk about a guy that's been absolutely on fire lately, Jared Goff. I mean, he put up huge points last week. If you were a Jared Goff owner, right? I believe that was last week's game where he went off. Am I thinking of the right? I'm getting my leagues confused again. Oh no, he did 22.5 points. I'm thinking of I'm thinking of Stafford actually. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah,
I get these guys interchanged sometimes, Stafford and Goff. But either way, Jared Goff has been a reliable fantasy producer all season long. And obviously the weapons that he has. Now, he was on the injury report with an ankle, but he has been removed as of basically 4 o'clock yesterday and is definitely playing. So if anybody was watching that or was maybe sweating or thinking, he is playing. Kyle Murray on the other side, who had a nice game against Miami last week in our league, putting up 32.68 points. And a week before that, 27 points. So going into Chicago, currently projected at 25.07 points. And how you feeling, bud? How's Viv feeling? More importantly, if she's there.
Well, she's not here at the moment, but I'm sure she's paying attention to her team and anxiously trying to get a win this week. Devontae Adams had a really, really nice Thursday night, and she was happy about that with that nice touchdown towards the end
Oh
of the
yeah,
game.
yep. Yeah, nice
Uh,
22 points there. Devontae Adams Devontae and Aaron Rodgers looking like the connection of old right there.
yeah, they finally came through. She's been very, very happy with Goff and Jahmyr Gibbs, both
Hmm.
Detroit Lions on her team.
Yeah.
And she made a few moves. So yeah, acquired Kate Otten, who seems to be
By the
looking
way, great
great.
pickup.
Yeah,
Great pickup by her. 29
absolutely.
points last week.
Yeah,
29.10 points. Can he do the same thing against KC? I mean, him and Baker seem to be if they're putting him in a mix. Before that, he had 17 points the week before that in Baltimore. Be good. Be nice. That could be the dark horse pickup that she's looking for.
I think so. I think she found a really nice pickup there with Kate Otten, and the rest of her team it looks solid. I think maybe on the defensive side,
Mm-hmm.
Denver projected for 1.21 is not the best play this week in Baltimore, but
No.
that's something I'm sure she could take a look at and consider pivoting from. On the other end, we're looking at Charlie McDennis, who's in fourth place, put up a lot of points this season. If I'm not mistaken,
Yeah.
I got to look that up real quick. I think Charlie McDennis is leading the league in points. In the LOEMP league, we have
He is.
and we have a prize for most points on the season. So 6 weeks away from the end of the regular season, Charlie McDennis is in first place as far as most points for any fantasy team. So
Yeah. By the way,
definitely a tough team to go up against.
I do want to point out real quick. Right now, he is in first place, but guess who's nipping at his heels? This guy right here, Yoda Best Team.
Yeah, well,
There's really only he's at 130, he's at 132, 1,300, 1322.64. I can't read math this morning. And I'm at 1304.43. So look at that.
well, you've been doing great. You got a couple of tough losses there. That's why
I
the
did.
record is better
I
than
did.
that. But so has he, and that's why you guys are both 4-4. But definitely a tough contender to go up against.
Yeah.
This team is very, very good.
Yes.
And this is going to be a really, really close matchup for both of these teams.
Yeah. And a flex spot too, Burrow versus Allen, So I mean, you got nice QB matchups there. One in Burrow in Vegas, which honestly should be a breakout game for him. We should see some big Jamar Chase points there too. And Josh Allen playing Miami.
Yeah.
Should be good points on both sides on that one from fantasy perspective.
I think so. So as far as our picks go for this one, I think I'm going to go with Manja Magic for the win here this week.
All right. And you know what? I think I'm going to go with you as well on that one. I mean, looking at both sides, this is going to be an interesting one to watch for sure. But I think I'm in line with you too on that one. I will also pick Manja Magic. All right, let's go over to our last matchup in this league. We have Tina's team, who's sitting in number 2 with Suck My Dicka at 6-2 versus Josh's team, the Dumbanders, sitting at the number 6 spot. Right now, Tina's team putting up some points from Thursday night. She's already got 16.60. It is a projected favorite at the moment, 153.89 to 135.25. Looking at QBs, she's the owner of the hottest quarterback in the entire NFL right now, for the most part, Jalen Daniels. How must it feel to be Tina right now, to have a gem like Jalen Daniels on your fantasy team?
Absolutely. No, it's wonderful. He's had a outstanding, fantastic rookie season, and she's paired him well. She did a great job this year to put her fantasy team together. Derrick Henry has been an unstoppable force, putting up points every week, touchdowns every week. So yeah, she's doing great in second place, 6 wins.
Would you co-sign in this statement that Suck My Dicka might be the scariest team in our league to play this year?
I think so. I definitely would co-sign that statement. Yeah,
Okay.
I think so. Joey Mixon playing great fantasy football at the moment.
Yeah.
Kirk Cousins also putting up some very, very nice weeks for her as well.
And she's a Sam Laporta owner who also had a great game last week too. Another tight end with a great game. 16.80. Was last week tight end Sunday? Was that the tight end day where every tight end seemed to like rock it? So
I think so.
Yeah, which was funny. But yeah, so that's also a great pickup there. Yeah, Joe Mixon. There's a lot to like about Tina's team, but not to shortcut dumb man. There's also a lot of good players. You know, Trevor Lawrence has been really struggling this year. Last year from fantasy, he did really well. He put up a lot of points, but this year he's not having a great year. But then you look down, he's got Justin Jefferson, Chris Olave, Aaron Kamara. The one thing he's going to have to look at, which I'm sure he will get to, is that Pat Freiermuth is in for him, but Pittsburgh is on a bye this week. I'm sure he'll make that adjustment, though. Josh will be on top of it. Rolling with the Baltimore D, I like it. I think once he makes that move in the tight end spot, I think this projection will obviously be a lot closer than it is now. Yeah. But I got to tell you, man, I really like the firepower on Tina's team, so that's why they are going to be my pick.
Great choice. I'm going to go with Ditka's team as well.
All right. There you go. So the picks are officially in. We have both chosen Tina's team. Suck my dicka to be victorious in this matchup. So let's quickly review our picks. Once again, we'll work our way from the bottom there. We'll work our way backwards. So we both have picked Tina's team to win over the Dumbmanders. Shardy McDennis versus Manja Magic. We have both chosen Manja Magic in that one. It Takes Two at a Tango versus Los Chupacabras. This is where you and I split. I am for Los Chupacabras on this one, while you have chosen Jerry to get his first win with It Takes Two at a Tango. CD's Nuts versus Love Hurts. We have both chosen your team, my friend, Love Hurts, to be victorious and start jockeying your way into playoff position. And then in the Yoda Best team, name is Dalton matchup, we have both gone with my team, Yoda Best team. And in our game of the week, Touchdown Talk game of the week here in the LOEMP League, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers versus Keith's cool team, who's sitting in first place, 7-1. Kevin's team, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, sitting in third at 5-3. You and I have both chosen Mighty Morphin Power Rangers to upset the first place holder, Keith's cool team.
Let's see what happens.
Let's see what happens with that one for sure. And just a reminder, everybody, if you're just tuning in now, you're listening to the Touchdown Talk here on Radio Garden State with Chris and Pablo. This is a show we've been doing now for the entire football season, making our debut here on Radio Garden State. So yes, we know we're week 9 already into it, but we are streaming this live on Radio Garden State. So you can listen to Radio Garden State. If for anybody else not on Radio Garden State, you can check out RadioGardenState.com. You can listen also via the TuneIn app or on any Alexa device. If you're on Facebook, YouTube, please feel free to chat with us. If you're on the radio and you want to call in, call 862-243-2064, 862-243-2064 to chat fantasy with us, ask any questions, and do the thing. So before we move on to our next league, which is the Dirt Invitational, do want to remind everybody that today it's Jersey Fest Day, guys. If you've been listening to Radio Garden State, this is all we've been talking about for 2 months now. Jersey Fest is actually happening today at the Wonder Bar in Asbury Park, New Jersey. Things get kicked off today at 7 p.m. today. Doors at 7. Guys, if you didn't get your tickets yet, get your tickets. You can also buy tickets at the door. 3 great bands all lined up. Kristen Sparaccio, The Hard Maybes, and Dentist. But it's not just music, guys. We've also got, here's the best part, Rippers from Rutt's Hut. Rutt's Hut's been around for like 89, 86, 80-something years, and they've only done 2 pop-ups. This is their second pop-up ever that they're doing. And we got North Jersey legends coming down to the shore. So you'll literally be able to eat a Ripper on the boardwalk and hang out and watch a bunch of bands. We also got Johnny's Pork Roll and Coffee, too. So whether you call it pork roll or Taylor ham, doesn't matter. The sandwiches are awesome. He'll be there slinging those great sandos. Plus, behind the bar, amazing breweries, all local breweries. Ghost Hawk, Asbury Park, 902, Twin Lights, Carton, Kane, Tom's River, Cape May Brewing, and also Asbury Park Distilling behind the bar with some great spirits as well. And we also want to say thank you to our partners. We got New Jersey Lottery, who will be there on site giving away $5 scratch offs to the first 100 people who come through the door at Jersey Fest. And also Postmarks, who's also a partner, will be giving away a special promo code for $20 off your Postmates offer. So that's going to be great. Of course, the Berkeley is a great sponsor of us too, where I'm staying tonight. Me, my wife are staying there. They give us a great, use the code JerseyFest in the comments for a nice little upgrade. And we also want to thank Megan Carolla for her sponsorship with Remax Elite. And once again, guys, a legendary Wonder Bar. It doesn't get much better than this. So come down, get your tickets right now. Hang out with us. I'll be down there. Mike Ham will be down there. I think Mick Metal will be down there. Ron Santee will be down there. A bunch of the other Radio Garden State folks will be there. I'll be live on the air with Ron Santee today. We'll be on the air. I think sometime in the, I don't know exactly when, but make sure you're listening because we're going to be on the air, I think starting around like 5 or 6, then we'll be on right up until showtime. So, guys, all the reasons to come down, hang out with us, get your tickets now, get tickets at the door. Jersey Fest Day here on Radio Garden State. All right, let's get back into some football talk here, pal.
All right, it's going to be a great day today.
Yeah. Oh, and my brother complaining, stop putting me as game of the week. That's 3 straight weeks you're jinxing me. Well, you know what? Do better.
Right? You're drawing attention because you're at the top of the standings there, Kevin.
That's right. Everybody's gunning for you, bud.
That's right.
All right, so let's get back into it, guys. We're moving on to our other league that Pablo and I are in together. That is the Dirt Invitational League. That's right. And let me switch that over. Here we go. And in this league, Pablo, you are also the commissioner of this league, are you not? Or co-commissioner?
That's it. That is correct. Yeah, co-commission.
Co-commission. Yeah. All right, let me get this one up here. Let me get it up. Here we go. Yahoo's being a little slow with me. Okay, here we go. Got it up. So now I can share it with everybody if you're watching us live. And once again, if you guys have any questions at all, feel free to chat with us or call the number 862-243-2064. Okay. In this league, biggest blowout of the week, Moose Knuckles versus, oh, my brother changed his name. A swift kick of, wait, what did he change his name to?
Love.
Oh, here it is. A swift kick of love. 188.50 to 130.5, a 58-point differential. Wow.
Big beatdown.
Big beatdown. Sitting in this league, if we're going to run down our standings just so everybody gets some context here, Bodie McBoatface sitting in the first spot, undefeated, like the Kansas City Chiefs. Undefeated. No one has been able to take out Pam's team right now. 8-0.
Nobody. Yeah.
The next closest would be Moose Knuckles at 6-2. Your team, my friend Uruguay, sitting at 5-3. A swift kick of love, sitting at 5-3. My team, also in this league, sitting in the number 5 spot at 5-3. My team, the Killer Beers. Sharkbait at number 6 at 5-3. Tina's team, the Sicilian, sitting at 4-4. Manja, the champ, last year's league champ, sitting at 4-4. Number 9, BMF at 3-5. Prima Dolas Matador at 2-6. Show Me Your TDs at 1-7. And Ginger Ninja sitting at 12-0-8. And did we have any trades in this one? Did we have any trades?
We did have one.
Oh, yep, we did. You want to talk about that one?
So we had a trade go down this week. It was a swift kick of love, trading away Chuba Hubbard to the Sicilians, who traded T. Higgins to Kevin's team. So it was T. Higgins for Chuba Hubbard. Mm-hmm. Higgins, who is injured, I think this week will not be playing, but is still a very important piece of that Cincinnati Bengals team.
Right.
And Chuba Hubbard, who's been the starting running back for Carolina all season and who's been having a very, very, very decent season. So definitely a good acquisition there for the Sicilians.
All right. Yep. There you go. Good acquisition. Guys, keep the trades coming. I think as we go through this, you'll see a lot of people are still open to some trades. So, all right. So once again, like we do in the other league, there is a game of the week in as well as this league. Did the champ, because in our league, we have the tradition of last year's champ gets to pick the game of the week every week. Did the champ pick a game of the week this week, Pablo?
I haven't heard from the champ in that regards. However, I think it's time to maybe call the champs game the game of the week. I don't know if that happened yet this
I
season.
don't think it's happened yet this season.
So the champ Manja happens to be going up against the Killer Beers.
That's right.
Which shout out to my buddy B-Dog, our good friend Brian Bedado.
Yeah.
Got a crazy Killer Beers tattoo earlier this week.
Looks
looks
awesome.
Outstanding.
I know.
So he is a big supporter of your fantasy football team right here, my friend.
And I am also wanting to go get that Killer Beers tattoo as well. So I was hoping maybe I can wrangle Pablo to come with me so we can all get matching tattoos. But I know Pablo's not ready yet. But that's okay. It's all good. It's all good.
We'll work our way there.
We'll work our way there. All right. So let's dive in here. So game of the week: Killer Beers versus Manja, last year's champ, who just rose to prominence in our league last year. Right now, I am sitting at 5-3. Manja's sitting at 4-4 in the number 8 spot. I'm at number 5 right now. She's already got some points on the board, 12.5 points, because she had Dalton Schultz go the other night, and the what's his name, Fairbairn, the kicker from Houston go. So she's already got some points on the board on me. Looking across, I'm gonna throw it to you since you can give the bipartisan objective view. What stands out to you from this matchup? Sitting in our QB spots real quick, just so everybody knows, is we got Baker Mayfield on my side and Dak Prescott on Manja's side.
So this is a very interesting matchup. You guys are very evenly paired at the moment, projected to be a close game. We were talking about these players earlier. Baker has been fantastic.
Yep.
Dak Prescott has not been that fantastic. So I think that right there is going to be one of the main deciding factors for your matchup here with Viviana.
Yeah.
Can Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb put it together in Atlanta? That'll be what maybe will save her fantasy fate this week. I do have confidence that Baker will be fine.
Yeah.
So I think on your end, your team looks very solid. You added Joe Flacco back into your starting lineup.
Yep, that was nice. I was excited about that. I mean, going into Minnesota, not going to be easy, but still, from a fantasy perspective, Flacco has been good, really good. So I'm looking forward to that. And I've also been excited about having Brock Bowers on my team as well. That was a pickup during the trade. I was really psyched to do, and so far he has been great. Devon A-Chain. So I'm feeling good. And Kevon Coleman has been very good. I know right now the projections are low, but he's been a pretty effective weapon so far in Buffalo. So yeah. I feel like while the projections are low on that one, I feel like he's going to have a good game.
I like the fact that you're rolling with the 2 tight ends. I think that Evan Ingram is a really, really, really strong play this week because their wide receiver core has been hurt in Jacksonville, and he's finally healthy again, Evan Ingram. So I think he will have a great game. So that's a really good flex option on your side.
Taking a chance on that one. Taking a chance. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, exactly. I feel like, when he's been playing, he's been good. He's been a favorite go-to target of Trevor Lawrence. Considering, Trevor Lawrence is kind of down on weapons too. Christian Kirk out for the season. Done. So, Evan Ingram and him seem to have a good connection. So I'm hoping for some good points there. So if I'm going to make a pick, once again, I will pick my own team. No surprise there. You, my friend, who are you going with?
This is tough.
Not to put you on the spot.
Yeah, this is a tough one. But I think that your team looks really strong. I think Manja's team has more question marks. I think Prescott, is a big uncertainty. I think Jalen Waddle as well. Chris Olave, they're really good players, but they haven't really been delivering for Manja this season. I'm gonna go with Manja for the pick here.
All right,
I'm gonna stick with the champ to see if she can eke the win out this week.
The household. You're gonna keep the household. Right? It's the safe pick. Keep the peace. Yeah, it's a safe pick, my friend. All right, so there you have it. Game of the week right there. Killer Beers versus Manja. Our picks are in. I chose my team, Killer Beers, and Pablo has wisely chosen Manja to keep the peace inside the house there. All right, let's go. Well, let's go on to the next one. Here comes your team, man. Uruguay sitting at 5-3 at the number 3 spot versus Tina's team in this league, the Sicilians, sitting in number 7 at 4-4. So records are not really too far apart here. It's not. It's just that once again, this league's been very competitive, much like LOEMP league. But you are right now projected favorite 163.80 versus her 131.41. You already got 16 points. You've jumped out. Joe Mixon rolling the other night. Tina put up 6 points. She had Houston D, who did not have a very good night. Although they did get sacks, they allowed a bunch of points, 21 points. That hurt. And in her IDP, she had a 2. So right off the bat, and much like in the other league, she's rolling with Jalen Daniels. You got Jared Goff. You got the nice stack. Goff, I'm in Ross St. Brown. She's rolling with Daniels, but she's got Justin Jefferson, Jacoby Myers, who I think I was talking with my brother about this if he's still listening. I think what's the chance you see Jacoby Myers get moved off of Vegas? What do you think the over-under of that is happening before the trade deadline?
I wouldn't be surprised. I'm not sure that Vegas is really, a contender this season. So if they're, if they're wise, they probably would want to get some type of return for the
probably
future.
Draft picks, I would think, for sure.
Absolutely. I don't know if they'll get it done, but it would be a smart move for them if they did.
Yeah. My brother could chime it in. Kevin Bagley, it would be smart. Yeah. I mean, you could definitely see him go when we were talking about before, right? Houston, who's hurting a little bit. Even though Nico is scheduled to come back. I mean, there's definitely a bunch of places that could use a really good receiver like Jacoby Myers. My brother's saying 60-40.
60-40. Taking the over on that.
Yeah. But I also like your side, man. You got A.J. Brown, and Alvin Kamara, Dalton Kincaid, Aaron Jones, and then you're rolling with Geno Smith in your flex. She's got Tua on the other side. She's got the Chuba Hubbard, and Kenneth Walker. Listen, I mean, when you go down these lineups, I mean, even though you are a projected winner, there's a really interesting chance here that Tina's team could be a dark horse in this game and really come up from behind.
Oh, absolutely. I'm not confident that this is like a no-brainer and
a runaway game, right?
No, not at all. I'm actually most worried about Geno. I know I was talking about that earlier with Metcalf out again.
Yeah,
that he was disappointing last week. Geno put up 6.5 for my team, and it was a tough game against Buffalo. But if I get that again this week, I'm gonna have a lot of work to do with the rest of the team because Tina's team is strong.
Yeah, Tina's team is strong, and I don't necessarily agree with these projections. I mean, you've got some nice firepower, but when you look down both these teams, it's interesting. I think the only spot of concern I feel for her at the moment would be her in her one wide receiver spot there, where she's got Wilson starting, and right now projected points are not great. Michael Wilson, but last week he put up 11.5 points. So will we see this happen? They are playing Chicago. So is there a potential that we may see him put up another, like, he'll have a nice game there? I don't know. What do you think about that? That to me is the one big spot glaring out here on this matchup.
Yeah, it is risky for her to start, but at the same time, Arizona hasn't been great. Of course they have Marvin, who takes all of the attention, gets the double coverage, and that opens up opportunities for Michael Wilson. So it's a risky play, but it's not a bad play to throw there in your super flex when you're looking for upside.
Yeah. All right, so let's go with this. Let's put our picks in on this matchup. Pablo, I'll start with you. Who are you going with this week in this Uruguay versus the Sicilians?
I'm going to go with Team Uruguay. Vamos Uruguay.
There you go. Wise choice. And I think this is going to be a fun game to watch this weekend, fantasy-wise, as I keep going back and forth. I think this is going to be close. But I am going to pick my host. I'm going to pick my co-host here to take the win. And snatch a win out of the Sicilians' hands there. So sorry, Tina, love you. I think your team is good though, so I think this is going to be a fun matchup all weekend to watch. All right, let's move on here. Moose Knuckles sitting in a number 2 spot, 6-2 versus Sharkbait sitting at number 6 But 5-3. Once again, guys, these standings, it's not, these standings are not huge differentials. Projected points 161.33 to 152.06. Moose Knuckles being a Garrett Wilson owner, 25.50 points on Thursday night. Well, on the other side, we have Hanson Riddick, who finally got a deal done, got a 1.5 points there, so 12.5 points on Sharkbait's side. Patty Mahomes versus Kirk Cousins. What do you think? How does that look for you?
Right. Well, look at the projection right now. Cousins is projected higher than Mahomes.
Yeah,
which is crazy to think about.
It's nuts, right?
Yeah, it is. It is. Moose Knuckles. So these two teams, by the way, I think these are really, really strong teams, both playoff bound in our league.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that Moose Knuckles has been putting all of his faith in Kansas City and in Mahomes. He acquired Travis Kelce, and he's I think he also had, who else did he have on his team? Did he have
who else did he have?
I think he had Rashee Rice. He might have dropped him.
Oh, you know what? I think he did. Because he's on it.
But he's confident. He's got faith that towards the end of the season, these guys are gonna light it up, and when it really matters, that's when they're gonna start putting up some large fantasy productions. At least I'm sure that's what he's hopeful for.
Yeah,
but
of course.
I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case. As of this week, though, if we look through the rest of the lineups, we've talked about Derrick Henry, Cooper Kupp already. Kyron Williams on Sharkbait's team. Kyron's been having a really great season.
Oh yeah.
So I think they're actually, they're really strong teams. The projection is a little greater than I would have expected, but that's that Garrett Wilson game from Thursday night.
Right.
That tilted it in John's favor.
I do have a question for you, and just to get your perspective on it, because it seems like, we talked about this. Sam Darnold. Let's talk very quickly about Sam Darnold, and this amazing season he's having. Good for him, But it seems like the last 2 games he's cooled off a little bit. Now, he did get injured in the one game against the Jets. He came back, then they had a bye week, but since coming back, just points-wise, fantasy production, he's had 15 points against Detroit week 7. In week 8, he had 19.5. Now, he's going in Indiana. Is he cooling off? Is he not as red hot from a fantasy perspective anymore? Or has it just been the matchups?
I think that he definitely cooled off a bit, but it hasn't been really that much. He's his last game, he almost hit 20 points. Prior to that, his big games were 22, 25, 29. I think that's still within reach for Darnold. Yeah. He's got favorable matchups coming up. So I think he definitely has cooled off a bit, but I don't think that we're looking at a Cinderella story. I think Darnold is still going to have a really good season all the way through, barring any injuries.
Right.
So
okay.
I think he'll be fine.
All right, yeah, I just want to get your quick perspective on it. I mean, listen, I think if I was a Darnold owner, I certainly wouldn't be sweating it. I mean, you still have Justin Jefferson on this team, for crying out loud. I mean, this job is simple. Get it to Justin Jefferson. you know, I mean, so, and obviously capable of making the big plays, and we know Sam Darnold can hit them. So, listen, I definitely wouldn't be sweating it. I think you just got to ride it out. For anybody that's been feeling it, don't. Stay the course. Stay the course, everybody. All right. So, listen, looking at this, I feel confident making a pick here, and I feel like Moose Knuckles, John. I think he's staying in the number 2 spot here, and I think he's going to take the win.
Going for the win this week.
Yeah.
I think that's likely going to happen again too. So
yeah,
I'm gonna
feel like it's the right pick.
Moose Knuckles here.
Yeah,
I'm gonna throw out another one of those nice little pieces of data here from our Dirt League. I had it for both leagues, but nothing really came out earlier. The last win from Sharkbait over Moose Knuckles goes back to the year 2017.
Wow.
So yeah, it's been a while. They had one tie there somewhere in between now and then, but most wins have always gone to Moose Knuckles. That'll be my pick here as well. So both you and I are both going with John's team in this one.
All right, very good, very good. And I just real quick before we move on, just because I want to make sure we check in. I know we have a lot of new people listening to us today or watching us. So just to reiterate, Pablo and I come on, and every Saturday we talk about our two leagues that we're in, and we go through the lineups and we pick who's going to win or who's going to lose. Obviously, too, we talk to you guys. So if you guys have questions about fantasy and all that, but the names of the league. So the league we're doing right now is called the Dirt Invitational. It's a Yahoo Fantasy League, and so is the league we talked about first, which is the LOEMP League, League of Extraordinarily Mediocre Peoples. You can, I believe you can, if you want to stay up to date as to what's going on with these leagues, if you're interested hearing us talk about them, you can follow them over at Yahoo Fantasy. If you want to see the league, see the standings, see these teams, all that, follow us over there. And of course, too, just to reset it real quick, too, in the Dirt League, we're half PPR, we're full PPR. I always get
Dirt League, half PPR in the Dirt League.
There you go. And LOEMP is full PPR. So I just want to make sure too we're setting it up for everybody who's checking in. And we do have a question coming in.
Right.
Oh, so Orange, hey, how are you? I know you've been on the show a couple times. Orange 43B coming in and saying, I am in a must-win week, full PPR, and have 2 flex spots open. He's asking Ridley, Worthy, Sutton, Waddle. Is that Stevenson?
Yeah, Ramondre.
And Rico. Thank you all. So once again, just to reiterate, 2 flex spots open, must-win week, full PPR. Ridley, Worthy, Sutton, Waddle, Stevenson, and Rico. Looking for who he should put into those 2 flex spots.
All right, so I'm quickly pulling up some of these matchups. I can tell you, I for sure would start Ridley here. Ridley had a great game last week. His matchup is favorable again. So in a full PPR, I 100% would definitely have Ridley in my lineup. We're getting a couple more couple more questions. Kevin there chiming in with Sutton, Ridley, or Rico Dowdle.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I could definitely agree with that. Yeah. It would definitely be Ridley for me.
I would definitely go with Ridley. I mean, Waddle, I think it's just because you just don't know how Tua is going to perform. Sutton, Worthy. I mean, I have Ramondre Stevens. I think he's starting on mine too. I think I got him in a flex in one of the leagues. I can't remember which one. But I'm kind of down to. I gotta do some shifting. I think we had another question too. Full PPR: Waddle, Wandale, or Amari. Is that just one of them, right? Oh wait, here he is. I have one spot left on wide receiver. Okay.
Okay, so one of those 3.
So one of those 3.
How do you feel about Wandale?
I like him. It's just Daniel Jones, but Daniel Jones on the road has actually been pretty good. Bad at home, good on the road. But I like Amari Cooper. He's on Buffalo. I mean,
Yeah, he has a tough matchup this week. Amari Cooper has a tough matchup going with Miami.
Yeah,
last week was not great.
No, I think I would go with Amari though. I think I would start Amari. Yeah, and Kevin Vaglio's coming in saying the same thing. He's saying, "Hey, at Sage Amari." I feel good about Amari. It is a tough matchup, but I don't know. I feel like I trust it a little bit more than I trust DJ at the moment. And they are playing Washington, and Washington's been hot and on the road in Washington. So I don't know. I have such a hard time trusting anybody in the Giants right now. Coming as a Giants fan.
Understandable.
But how do you? Where are you
Amari
at?
Too.
Yeah,
I think I would go with Amari too.
Okay.
He is one of those great players, and he just got on a new team with Josh Allen, so I'm sure they're going to try to find him.
Mm-hmm.
And given the other options, Waddle could pop any day.
Yeah.
But good luck trying to guess what day that will be.
Yeah.
I would feel more confident starting Amari Cooper.
Yeah. And just to go back, I do want to make sure that Orange saw it. My brother did come in with Orange and said his order for Orange's question would be Sutton, Ridley, or Rico. That's his order.
All right.
If you got that question. All right, guys. Hey, so keep the questions coming. Just as a reminder, we have about 19 minutes left in the show, but we are happy. And if you guys have questions, we can stay live on the actual video stream, but we will be off of Radio Garden State at 11:30. So we can always stay on a little bit longer if you have some more questions. So Pablo, let's keep it moving. And thank you guys for the questions. Really appreciate it. All right, let's get this going. Okay, so we picked our picks in this matchup. Let's move on to Ginger Ninja versus Primero Las Matador, who is 0-8 in our league right now. Heather sitting at number 12 versus Prima, who's sitting at number 10, Mikey, with 2-6 record.
Mm.
We have a Justin Herbert versus a Josh Allen situation. Projections are way off. Oh, let me just go with 2. Sorry, I didn't put the projected in this as far as the teams go. 139.55 for Ginger Ninja and 133.51 for Prima Dos Matador. And Ginger Ninja always jumping out with 15 spots. Had Tank Dell. Nice night for Tank Dell. Getting 15 points for her on the board.
Yep, definitely had a good Thursday. So here we have Amari Cooper in Ginger Ninja starting lineup.
Yeah.
And I think that's the right choice for her team.
Yep.
Justin Herbert going into Cleveland. Cleveland has been playing better.
Yep.
It is a tough matchup for the Chargers. But I think Herbert is also a great start this week.
Yeah.
Looking through the rest of the lineups here, Mikey's got Kate Otten and Rashad White, which I actually like both plays. I think Rashad White is probably going to be one of the benefactors of not having their main wide receivers on the field for a few weeks.
Yeah.
So I like that start.
I agree with that.
There.
Yeah, I like that too. I think that's a good one. We have Xavier Worthy versus Lan McConkey. I think, Xavier Worthy's been not. I mean, he's been good. I mean, I don't feel like, because it's not like he's got a lot of options out there right now.
Right. Yeah. Looking through the bench, it looks like a bit of a tough week. But Mikey does have Cedric Tillman.
Yep.
Who we were just talking about earlier as well, because he's on Cleveland now with Jameis Winston. The kid seems to be getting some good chemistry going there with the quarterback.
Yeah, in a super flex spot, Jalen Hurts versus Caleb Williams.
Yeah, that's bananas. Jalen Hurts is fantastic, and Caleb is on the rise, but he needs to step up. He definitely needs to step up. Overall, looking at these two teams, I think this is a fairly close projection. I like it for Ginger Ninja to get her first win of the season here.
Yeah, I would love to see Heather get a win here, and at least not go 0-9. So I'd love to see that now just move to a 1-8, so at least gets her a win. And unfortunately, that doesn't mean it means Prima probably won't win either. So my pick is gonna be Ginger Ninja on this one. I think she's got the slight advantage. My only concern here is a Justin Herbert quarterback situation.
Yeah,
but Josh Allen. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. Yeah, no. Go ahead. Josh Allen. What?
I was just gonna say. Josh Allen. We were talking about. He's got some great weapons, but they are playing a tough Miami team. So it's not going to be an easy game for Buffalo.
No, it'll be a little difficult. I was just going to bring up in this league, even though Ginger Ninja's 0-8, there are only 6 games left in the regular season, and it seems very, very hard for this team to get into the playoffs.
Yeah,
we do have a really exciting consolation bracket for those teams that do not make the playoffs.
Right.
We have a trophy that has been hand carved. There we go. There it is. And the team that loses every game out of the consolation bracket is rewarded with this trophy for a full year, where they have to display it in their home. Yeah. And this here is show me your touchdowns, gracefully displaying the trophy in his home at the moment.
That's right. It's the poop trophy, guys. Just for those of you not watching. For those of you listening, there is a poop trophy for the last place winner.
Yeah. So even though Ginger Ninja and Prima Dos Matador, they have a tough road ahead of them to get into the playoffs.
Right.
You still want to keep adding good players. You still want to keep trying to make trades, because you still want to prepare yourself to try not to lose every game in that consolation bracket.
Exactly. So you don't want to be the proud owner of the of the poop trophy. So, so our picks are in. Ginger Ninja for the win this week on that matchup. All right, got 2 more left, guys. We got BMF versus Show Me Your TDs. Ruben coming out of the gate with a nice 40 burger here, 40.50, wow. And Show Me Your touchdowns, your TDs. Chris with 1-7, sitting in the 11th spot here with 25 points. So both teams coming out with some big points already. Still, the projections are 135.16 to 127.75.
Yeah, big points already for both teams. CJ Stroud, though, a little bit of a disappointment there with just 6 points for
Yeah,
BMF.
yeah. That did not help him at all. Getting 6 points in that number one QB spot versus Aaron Rodgers on the other side with 25 points. But he was the owner of Devontae Adams, who helped him out with 18.50 points. And if you look down, New York defense, 16 points on that. So that helped him kind of jump out here. And he is still the projected favorite as of now. But when you look down, we got Jose Flowers versus Jerry Jeudy, Calvin Ridley on the other side going into New England, Ramondre Stevenson versus Saquon. Saquon going into Jacksonville, and could we see Saquon have a just tear it up in Jacksonville this week?
I wouldn't be surprised. Jacksonville has not been great, so for sure that's highly likely.
And it's funny seeing Kareem Hunt's name on here because that's a name it's like you feel like here we are still talking about Kareem Hunt in 2024, but running back KC projected at 11.32 points going into Tampa Bay. But on the other side, he does going to have to make a move here on Show Me Your TD side because right now he's got Zach Mossad, who is listed as doubtful.
Yeah, that's definitely a move that'll happen later. His bench looks a little bare. He's got Jerome Ford as a running back, but I'm sure he has other pivot options that he could search for on free agency as well.
Absolutely. So, all right. So let's and real quick too. Looking at the super flex spot, wide receiver versus a QB. So we have Josh Downs going up against Joe Burrow in the super flex spot. Well, how do you feel about that? That's a risky play, huh?
Those are some wild times right now.
Some wild times.
Yeah, well, the quarterback situation is not fantastic. I'm looking up what we have available in this league right now. The two quarterbacks that are projected to start tomorrow that are not owned at the moment there's actually three of them. We've got Gardner Minshew,
Uncle Rico,
Bryce Young, and Jacoby Brissett in place of Drake May, who is slated to miss tomorrow's contest in Tennessee.
Yeah, and as Kevin's coming in saying, there are QBs on the waiver in this league.
Yeah, but it's tough. I mean, if you want to go with Downs in a super flex, I think Downs has tremendous upside with Joe Flacco throwing him the ball. He's had some very, very high scoring weeks.
Right.
I'm pulling up his chart now. His last week was 19 fantasy points. He's hit 18 as well. He's getting the targets. He's getting the yards. So I can't blame him for taking a chance with Josh Downs. Nope.
All right. So there you go. I mean, listen, you got to take a chance sometimes. You got to make some moves. Got to make some risks. But hey, knowing there is something out there on a waiver wire may not be bad to just possible pickup and stash. So nothing wrong with that. And also, still trades. Still make some trades. You can still make something happen.
Absolutely. Yeah. The running back situation, I'm in the same exact scenario in the other league as a Zach Moss owner, a manager, and I'm in the market, like I said.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if Chris is also doing the same, sending out offers and reaching out to other teams.
And even though Ruben's at 3-5 and number 9, there's still a chance. You got to win this week, but you know what? Put a couple wins together, and you're right in the mix because there isn't a lot separating all the other teams in the middle right now at the moment. But you got to win. Got to get a win here. So
6 weeks left.
So I am gonna go. I feel pretty confident putting a pick in for BMF this week. I feel like Ruben's gonna pull it out, and I feel like he's gonna get a win here this week. Pablo, how do you feel looking at the lineups here?
That's going to be my pick as well. I think Ruben will come out with a win in this one.
All right. Very good. There it is. Our official pick. Ruben versus Show Me Your TDs. Both of us picking Ruben's team with BMF. Okay. And let's move into, come on, Yahoo. Here we go. All right. Here we go in our last matchup of today. Look at this, Pablo. Look at this. This is, I think, the second or third week in a row. Right now, our undefeated number 1 in our league, Bodie McBoatface, 8-0, versus Swift Kick of Love, 5-3, has been the projected underdog in the last couple matchups, I believe, and has won all of them, obviously, because they're undefeated. But right off the bat, Kevin's got the projection. He's got 9 points already. He had Breece Hall go, which once again, we're talking about from a fantasy perspective. Breece Hall not doing the numbers we all would want. But
Right.
still, but he still has some great firepower on his team. Let's look at this QB spots, though. Kyler Murray versus Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, tough on Kevin's side. There are definitely a lot of potential points to be had there versus Chicago with Kyler Murray. But
yeah, Kevin. Let's be real. 1 point isn't enough. Yeah, I get it. I know, but it's dramatic effect.
I would definitely take Lamar 10 times out of 10 if I had a choice of
Right.
QB, as I'm sure we all would. But looking at the rest of the team, they both have really good teams. It's a close projection. I'm actually surprised that the projection point total is so low.
Yeah,
they've got really great players, but yeah, it's gonna be a close one. I'm gonna say that. Go ahead.
I was just saying, just real quick, I'm looking at about Brian Thomas Jr. He is a game time decision against the Eagles. Listed as questionable game time decision.
Yeah,
So,
he had an injury. I think it was a rib injury, and
yep.
the initial report that I saw come out said he was going to be out several weeks, and then apparently it turned out to not be so serious, and now he's looking like more of a game time thing. Still, definitely won't be at 100%.
No,
but I'm sure Jacksonville needs to and would love to have him on the field, as well as Bodie would love to have him in her lineup.
Now, and Kevin is saying Puka, I hear too. Okay,
Puka had a knee. Yes, he had a knee setback in
as
practice.
of 10:47 this morning. It says expected to play.
Yeah, the same knee though that kept him out on IR for 4 or 5, 6 weeks.
Yeah,
is the one that he had to leave practice early for. And it sounds like he's going to be okay, but definitely something to be cautious about. But yeah, for Puka's sake, for Bodie's sake, I'm sure she would love to have him in her lineup as well.
For sure.
So this is very, very close. I think that I'm going to make my pick be Bodie's team here. And the reason for this is because I think we're all expecting this undefeated team to lose eventually, right?
Right.
So every week I'm trying to pick, I think this will be the week. But I don't know, man. I think this is turning out to be one of those seasons where everything just lines up for this team. So I'm going to pick, for the sake of our picks and to try to get more picks correctly on my end, I'm going to pick Bodie's team.
All right, so you are going Bodie's team. So I'm just, I've been taking in this roster all the way down. It's pretty good back and forth. This will be a fun game to watch throughout the weekend for sure. I feel like I'm looking at the flex spot here: Jordan Love versus Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford's going into Seattle. Jordan Love going into Detroit. Green Bay versus Detroit. Good rivalry there. Not going to be an easy game at all. But I also don't think, Matthew Stafford, even though he had that awesome game where he put up gangbuster points, I don't think it's going to be cakewalk in Seattle either. So I'm a little split on this. So this is going to be a coin flip for me. But you know what? Just for the purposes of drama, I'm going to go with a swift kick.
There you go.
I'm going to go with swift kick because you know what? It'll make it fun. Well, and we'll see who comes out next week. We'll see who wins this matchup. So, all right. So we have about 5 minutes left. Let me run through really quick our picks overall. So once again, in this last matchup, where we had Swift Kick of Love versus Bodie McBoatface, who's sitting in first place, 8-0 undefeated. I have chosen Swift Kick of Love, who's currently at 5-3 in fourth place, and Pablo has chosen Bodie McBoatface. In BMF versus Show Me Your TDs, we have both gone with BMF in that matchup. Ginger Ninja versus Primo de las Matador. Ginger Ninja, who is sitting at 0-8 and number 12 in the league, versus 2-6, number 10, Primo de las Matador. We have both chosen Ginger Ninja to go get her first win and hopefully not be a recipient of the poop trophy at the end of the season. Moose Knuckles versus Sharkbait. We have both gone with Moose Knuckles, who's sitting in number 2 spot right now. And Uruguay, which is your team, my friend, sitting at number 3, got a 5-3 record, versus the Sicilians at 4-4. We have both gone with Uruguay. And in what Pablo has chosen for our show as the game of the week in the Dirt Invitational. My team, the Killer Beer, is sitting at number 5 versus last year's champ, Manja, who's sitting at 4-4, number 8. We have both chosen Killer Beers to go for the win on that one. So thank you, my friend.
Oh, no problem. No problem.
Oh,
So
I'm sorry. You have actually
see...
chosen Manja. Sorry. I apologize on that one. I was reading it backwards. I have chosen my team, Killer Beers, and you have chosen Manja. I don't want to rock the boat. Let that be known. I have it written down. I'm looking at the wrong thing. Viv. Don't get mad. That was me. All right. Real quick. A quick question we got before we sign off here. I'm a little late to the party, but I have a problem. Both my tight ends are on bye this week, and I have a full roster. Question is, drop someone and get a temp tight end, or just take the loss of points not playing a tight end? How about make a trade?
That's my number one suggestion too. I love that idea. I love that idea. I think that and it all depends on who your tight ends are. You know, I actually quickly pulled up Josh's team, the Demanders, to see what his roster was looking like. He's got Pat Freiermuth and George Kittle on a bye, both of them.
Mm-hmm.
So it all depends on the value that you have to be able to offer one of them as a trade piece. I mean, you could always try to trade somebody else and just keep both of these tight ends if you want, but don't leave it empty. Yeah, Kevin, he's got the right mindset right there. Don't ever leave an empty roster spot. If it has to come down to it, cut one and drop them.
Yep.
But if you can avoid dropping a player who still holds value, even though they're not playing this week, then that's your best option. Try to package them together. Put maybe one of the two tight ends along with another wide receiver, and go get a better tight end. Maybe somebody who you want to keep in your lineup all season.
Oh, there you go. My brother coming in with some quick advice. Josh, grab Hill. There you go. Josh, make a move. Up to your roster, Kevin. There you go. Oh, and here's Kevin 7 coming in with some Carolina's giving up the most TDs to second running backs, and technically that will be Taysom Hill. That's
right, because Taysom Hill is definitely a guy you can start in your tight end spot, but he'll get you points all over the place, like rushing yards and touchdowns as well.
Yep, absolutely. So, all right, guys. Well, hey, listen, thank you all so much for hanging out with us today. We really appreciate you chilling out with us on Radio Garden State, on our official debut on Radio Garden State, of course, over on Facebook and YouTube as well. Once again, follow our leagues if you want over on Yahoo Fantasy, League of Extraordinarily Mediocre People, the LOEMP League, and the Dirt Invitational. And we will be back next Saturday at 10 o'clock for another episode of the Touchdown Talk, Week 10, as we review what happened this week. Pablo, any final words?
Well, enjoy the rest of your Saturday, everybody. It's a beautiful sunny day here in the East Coast. We have a great festival later this afternoon here in Jersey.
Jersey Fest.
So let's rock on. And good luck to all your fantasy teams. Thank you, everybody from Radio Garden State, for tuning in today.
Yeah, absolutely. And for everybody else who's watching, and I'm going to play us out as we've been getting into this tradition of playing a video or music from a local Jersey band. So I'm going to play us out with some dentists who are playing tonight at Jersey Fest right now. So for those of you still on, here is some Dentist with Understand It live from the AC Beer and Music Fest from 2023. All right, guys, see you all later. Get your Jersey Fest tickets. See you next Saturday.